You're inside the Press Box. Christian FM Sports presents Inside the Press Box, where we discuss all sports from our favorite high school team to college and pro. Here's your hosts, Paul Tipton and Gary Paris.
Hey, Vero Nation. Paul Tipton along with Gary Paris, and we are once again inside the Press Box as Vero Beach wins round 2 over Palm Beach Central 21-20. What a game it was. It was an exciting ball game. Seemed like, Gary, I knew you weren't there for the ball game. You had to join UCF in West Virginia, but Matt and I were looking at this game and, felt pretty confident that the Indians could win the game. And you and I had talked about this as well, that had a good shot at winning this ball game. And for the longest part of the ball game, I would say probably a good 2.5 quarters, it just seemed like it was like the heavyweight battle between these two teams and just kind of body blow. Vero Beach with a slight edge because they were all the way through about 2.5 quarters leading 7-0.
Which was unique in its own way. You're up 7-0. Not a lot of football being played in the trenches. Both teams defensively was playing some of the really good football. Listening to you guys, you and Matt and Derek did a great job. I'm going to be honest with you. I was up in Morgantown listening, and it was fun to listen. It was a good game, a solid game, and you guys were on your marks, and it was great to listen to the game. And at any time, I kept thinking, wow, this game's it's got to get better than in the scoring wise. But both teams' defense did a good job, and you got to be proud of the way our kids played. And again, I'll talk about this a little bit later. About the youth on our team and how they were productive in this game. But Paul, it was a fun game to listen to. It was enjoyable, and I was having dinner with the rest of the guys and on the team, the broadcast team, and I had my earplugs in, and they kept saying, "What's the score? What's the score?" You know what I mean? They were all excited about it. They've gotten to know Vero Beach over the years, and we had one of our broadcast sideline reporters played at Wellington, and of course Central being from Wellington area, but he was rooting for Vero Beach, and so it was a fun game to listen to. You and Matt did a great job, and with Derek on the sideline, fantastic.
Well, like I said, I don't want to say it wasn't a boring game, but I think we expected maybe a little bit more scoring. But as you said, two good defenses played very well and held these teams in check. And really, it came down to which team, as usual, made the most mistakes is probably not going to walk away with a win. And that was certainly the case. As Gary, we got into, late in that ball game, I think right as we started the fourth quarter, you get Palm Beach Central gets a score and they go ahead of Vero. But then Vero Beach comes right back with a long sustained drive and took a lot of time off the clock, regains the lead, feeling pretty good. But then just like that, explosive plays was the signature for the Broncos. And once again, they struck with a blown coverage for Vero Beach, left one of their best receivers wide open, and he scored. And then, Gary, we got about 90 seconds left in this ball game, and thinking, wow, can Vero Beach march down the field and get a touchdown? Because that's what they got to get. They got to get a touchdown and an extra point to win this ball game. And who would have thunk that Latravius Woods was going to catch the ball at the 4-yard line and take it back to the house for a touchdown? This broadcaster certainly didn't think that.
Well, I don't know if anybody would have thought that it would have been a 96-yard return. The thing that I was impressed with was that it was Vero, when they scored, they missed their extra point, so it was 7-6. Then Vero Beach went up 14-6. Then they come back and they score, and I'm thinking, and I'm sitting there telling the guys, they'll go for two. They got to go for two now. And if not now, they got to go for two. One of these in this game. They went and they kicked their extra point. So Vera was ahead 14-13. Then I can remember you and Matt talking. There was a slip. A.J. White, who's had a fantastic game, was back, was healthy, and the field was a little loose. He went to break on the ball, and if he doesn't slip, he picks that pass off. Instead, the guy makes the catch, and he goes into the end zone for a touchdown, and now it's 20-14. So you're thinking, okay, he's going to go for two now. This is the time he's got to go for two. And he goes for one. And I was totally shocked. So they're up 20, rather, excuse me. It was 19. They got 20. And 20 to, and that was in the, no, I'm getting ahead of myself. That was the second touchdown. It was 14-13. Then we blew the coverage open on the play you talked about. I got a little ahead of myself there, and apologize for that, Paul. But I'm going back the memory of that game. It was so exciting, and that they had cover four. We had four defensive backs. One of them walks up and takes his guy, and I think what happened there was a miscommunication between the sideline and the player. Because the player walked up, instead of, he's a safety, he walks up and he feels that he's got coverage there. It's deep thirds and somebody's got it behind him. Well, it was force, and the guy that was over, he let go. Well, the guy was unopen, one was wide open all the way down the field. Nice throw by the quarterback, heard as you described it, and he was off to the races. Nobody touched him. Nobody was close to him. He went in for the touchdown. Now, like you said, this is a minute and 33 seconds left to go, or a minute and 30, and you're sitting there and you're thinking, oh, well, we got to get the ball. I'm saying if we get the kickoff in the end zone, we got timeouts. We got to get the ball to midfield, and then we got to move it in a little bit farther. Then we get to take a shot at the end zone. And I'm thinking we can still win this game, but boy, it didn't look good. It didn't look good. I mean, when's the last time we ran a kickoff back for a touchdown? We haven't done one this year, I don't think. Nope. And first one. And so when a freshman, Trey Woods, gets the ball, and I'm hearing you now, you're broadcasting this, and you're saying, here's Woods now. Woods moves into moves to the outside. Woods is picking up speed. Oh my goodness, you're excited. He could go all the way, and he does. I mean, when you could hear your voice and excitement. I'm in a restaurant and I'm going nuts. Them people up in West Virginia are like, what's he all excited about? Food that good here? You know? and I'm going crazy with that. And I was so excited. Man, all we had to do was kick the extra point, and that was the game right there. And I tell you, what a great call. What a great setting. And I'm going to tell you what, as a fan that night, that was a great win.
Well, like I said, I mean, it was a great win, but working through that game and just really felt like we got that first touchdown right before the halftime, and so you go to locker room with a 7-0 lead, and of course that feels good. I mean, obviously, I think even if we hadn't got the touchdown going in the locker room 0-0, I think we'd have still felt pretty good about things. But then again, like I said, getting near the end of that ball game, and Coach Jay talks about this all the time with you and I when we're at Coach's Corner about the explosive plays. And I mean, my goodness, other than the fact that we had the one long sustained drive that Champ Mons drives in on, everything else, both sides, it was explosive plays. I mean, go back to the first touchdown, Gary. How about this? We set up with a play action, set up beautifully. Set up because we've been running the ball. They come out with the same formation, a play action, and Hillsman, who has played a little bit, but not much, certainly hadn't caught a ball. It's his first catch of the season, I think. Well, maybe not. I think he's got a couple of catches, but 40. I mean, he's totally uncovered, and he goes in from 44 yards out for a score. You got freshman quarterback to freshman receiver scoring your first touchdown in round 2 of the playoffs. Then you get later in the ball game, and like I said, we get that one sustained drive where Champ goes in with the 1-yard drive or run and gets that touchdown. And then, of course, the final score is Latravius Woods, another freshman, scoring on this 96-yard return. For Palm Beach Central, they were all explosive plays. 2 big ones by the receivers. You mentioned the one where EJ was going to try to break on the ball. He slips, and then when he slips, that receiver's now wide open, and he just takes off down the sideline. The other one was a blown coverage, but, big explosive plays. And in the end, it was the explosive play that Vero Beach needed and got to win the ball game.
Well, you look for all 3 segments of your game to contribute. And other than the blown coverage and a slip, our defense played super. They kept them off balance. They didn't allow any of the real big plays until they had like you said, a slip and a miscommunication on a touchdown. Offensively, they did their job. Defense, they did their job, and special teams did their job. It's a perfect ball game. You played the number 1 seed of the region. You beat them on their field. That's got to be a good feeling. Now it sets up the second round of this is the third round, but I call the finals of the when you get into now, it's your third game and it's the finals, and it's the second back-to-back game. You got to go on the road, and you got to travel now to Phillips, Dr. Phillips up in Orlando. It's really funny and ironic. Here it is. My last game for UCF is on Friday. Where is it? In Orlando. Yep. We're playing University of Utah. At the same time that Vero Beach is going to be playing Dr. Phillips for the finals of the regional. And it's going to be fun for me to have my score out in front of me, and I'm trying to do the color analyst for a game. My mind will be in the game, but my heart will be with you guys for sure. My game, we got Utah. You always got a tough opponent there, and disappointing year for UCF, and it's a heartbreaker. We thought we had expectations of a great season, and it just hasn't happened this year. But Vero Beach, people thought after 3 straight losses that this is going to be a bad, tough year for Vero Beach. And guess what? They bounced back. And they bounced back. And they've been on a winning streak now, 7 straight games. And make it 8. 8 straight games now Vero Beach has won. And now they're going on the road, and they're going to play a very good, worthy opponent. And I'll let you get into details of this, but I'll tell you this right now. This is a young Vero Beach team, folks, made up of a lot of freshmen, sophomores, and juniors. Very few seniors the starters are on this team. You are going to play a team this next week that's loaded with seniors in all their positions, whether it's a quarterback, running backs, wide receivers, defensive people. They're all seniors. So it'll be the kids versus the old guys, as they say. So, Paul, we're playing a very, very good Dr. Phillips. They're 11-1, and I'll let you give a breakdown on them.
Well, yeah, it's been, Dr. Phillips has been one of those teams, Gary, that we really just haven't been able to get past. We played them a couple of times. I went back and looked at it. Last time we played them was in 2018. It was at our place. And we lost that ball game. I'm trying to remember where was the score. It was 19-7 was the score. Some familiar names on our side of the ball was Nick Celedonia. And then, of course, we had DeMarcus Harris. Then you go back to 2016, where we traveled to play in the playoffs, played Dr. Phillips there at their stadium. You got Mike Dean, Hakeem Dixon, Mike Smith, all playing in those ball games. And you know what the storyline was in both of those games, Gary? Turnovers. And it was turnovers that hurt us in those ball games and ultimately was our demise in those ball games. So obviously, I would imagine the emphasis this week, as it would be any week, but it's certainly this week, we can't turn the ball over. Don't give a team like Dr. Phillips more opportunities to get points on the board. This is a team that's coming in averaging 34 points a game. Their defense only giving up 10 points a game. You know, if you go back to some of the last rankings in our classification 7A, they are ranked 5th. So yeah, they're coming in with some talented players. Their quarterback, Stanley Lofton, he's completed 61% of his passes. He's got 26 touchdowns on the season to 6 interceptions, thrown for a little over 1,700 yards on the season. Their run game is pretty good. They do it by committee. They got a little over 1,200 yards on the season, but they got 25 touchdowns on the ground. So, you know, they certainly, it's pretty balanced between the air and the ground game. But it looks to me, Gary, like they will, I think they use their ground game to set up some of their passing. So you got like a good receiver in Cameron Dixon, who's got a little over 800 yards on the season and 6 touchdowns. But they've got 3 receivers, just like what we saw with Palm Beach Central. They got 3 receivers that have put up some significant numbers this year for Dr. Phillips. So as you would expect, GP, as you get further in the playoffs, the teams get harder and it's a bigger challenge. And will this be the year, Gary? I think it's been since the late 90s since Vero Beach got past the 3rd round.
Well, we've been waiting for that breakout game. And I thought the Indians played a great game last week. I thought it was solid all the way, just a couple little breakdowns on defense, but offensively, coach called a good game, and he let these young kids develop throughout the game and saw what talents they have. And now we're going to play a veteran team, a team that is made up of wise and older guys and have been in the playoffs every year. So this is a challenge for us. And again, offensively, we're going to have to play against defenses that will put more pressure. They'll try to eliminate your passing game. It's good to have E.J. White back.
Yes.
It was big. That's a big thing for us. And with his ability to catch the ball and the quarterbacks, our ability to run and to throw. He's a dual threat quarterback. The coach doesn't like him to be a dual threat, but he becomes a dual threat when he doesn't. Doesn't when things are tight and when he has to run for it. But they got a good offense, as you said. They got a quarterback that's thrown for nearly 1,800 yards, and their running back is they're an average running game, but they like to mix the run, and they'll set their passing game up by running a few plays on each drive they got. But they're more of a deep passing game, and they go after it. And that 25 touchdowns he has, that's a legitimate 26 touchdowns and just 6 interceptions. That's the command of the game. He's averaging 161 yards a game, almost 162 yards a game passing. And so, but when I saw the stat that he had 26 touchdowns and just 6 interceptions, unbelievable, Paul. And the other thing that impressed me was, like you said, the 25 touchdowns on running the ball. It's going to be a great game. It's 2 versus 4.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it didn't come out 1-2. It's 2 versus 4. So it's be exciting. And listen, people have said, well, last time Vero got past the 3rd round was in 1990. You know how hard it is to get to the 2nd round, or to get to the 3rd round, or to get to the semifinals in the 4th round? It's hard. Yeah. It is hard, especially if you're in 7A. You got it's just a competitive league. And with all these young kids we got, I'm really proud of the way they played. No matter what the outcome may be, you've got to love and you got to appreciate the talent and what this coaching staff, we have a fantastic coaching staff, both offensive and defensive. So by saying all that, I really feel that we'll be ready to play. I don't know the outcome because we got so many young kids, but I think we will be ready to play.
Way to hedge your bet there, GP. I got you, man.
I didn't want to jinx them.
Well, you started out at the beginning of this podcast. You wanted to talk about the youth of our team, and you touched on it there. But I want to point out some things here from this previous game. And really, to me, this is a microcosm of what we've seen all season long. And obviously, when you have a quarterback, he's going to be the focal point of your program, really. Champ Smith now, with that ball game on this past Friday night, now has eclipsed 2,000 yards. He's got 2,092 on the season for 23 touchdowns, but he's completing 70% of his passes, which is really phenomenal. And I think he's only thrown 6 interceptions, which is really unbelievable, especially when you're talking about a guy that's just a freshman. How about this? We talked about Jamarian Hillsman, and he's got that one. He had that one catch on Friday night, one for 44 yards and a touchdown. Austin Banshoff in that ball game, one catch for 18 yards, but that was such a critical moment. It was a big first down for Vero Beach to keep a drive alive. Then you got Jannard Young. He had 8 carries on the night for 63 yards. Champ carried the ball 20 times for 81 yards and a touchdown. Vero Beach had 51 plays in that ball game, Gary, for 330 yards on the night. This is a team that is just finding ways to win ball games, which is impressive. I mean, in years past, Gary, we've seen where Vero Beach might have 1 or 2 really talented athletes on the team, and they become the focal point. This team seems to be really balanced in a way to where you never know who's really going to step up and contribute on any given Friday night.
That's what's neat about this. Coach has a plan. He has a game. He told you and I that he has a script that he loved to stick. He tries to stick to. He has plays that set up other plays, and he has it based on the defense and all. And he has a scheme for the different segments of the game. Different athletes at different times may come in and be a part of it. Folks, I'm excited that we're in the 3rd round. But you know what I'm more excited about? The future of football at Vero Beach High School. Oh, wow. There's just a great group of talented young people, and they believe in Coach Jankowski, and this is what's fun. I don't know the outcome. You don't know the outcome either. I like to think we're going to win, and so do you. And I think Coach will think the same thing. Sure. He thinks he can win. I think he can too. But you've got to eliminate mistakes and eliminate penalties. We've lost to this team 3 times, and the last 3 times we played them because of turnovers. Yep. Crucial turnovers and critical turnovers at those times. When you're going down to score and you fumble a ball, then boom, our team punts to you and you drop a punt, fair catch, and you drop it, and they get the ball back in excellent field position. Those are the things that have hurt us in the past when we play this team. We've played this team. But they don't intimidate you. They won't intimidate. Vero Beach should not be intimidated. They played the number 1 seed, and they played well with them. Get ready to play the number 2 seed. And we'll see how well we play now.
I think Gary's ready to put the helmet on and get back out there on the field. All right, folks. Well, that's going to do it for being inside the press box. And first and foremost, we want to wish you and your family a happy Thanksgiving. And get ready. Black Friday, we are heading to Orlando to take on Dr. Phillips on their home turf for round 3, the region final. We haven't been told yet officially what time kickoff will be. Either be 7 or 7:30. So that means our coverage will begin at either 6 or 6:30, depending on when they're going to have kickoff. And again, from a video standpoint, it will once again be on the NFHS network. We'll have that link available for you, so that if you want to watch it by video, you certainly can do that. Yes, it is a subscription-based type of platform, so you need to just be prepared for that. Otherwise, you can certainly listen to it on our radio station at 91.9. We have our app, Christian FM app, available also at our website, christianfm.com, if you want to just listen to the ball game as well. It's going to be a fun night. Look forward to having you there if you can. I understand if you can't be, with the holiday weekend being what it is. Certainly we want to cheer on our boys, and let's see if we can't get to round 4 and let's get that monkey off our back with Dr. Phillips once and for all. All right, folks, wish you the best. We'll see you next time. As always, go Indians.
Thanks for joining us inside the press box. For more, go to ChristianFM.com.